And he's not here. Leo stabs the doorbell again, frustration etched across his face. I shift the red velvet cake in my grasp, trying to hold both it and the lucha figurine. Not really wanting to do more shopping after the incident, Jenna, TJ, and Leo had just bought Peyton fast food as gifts. Carl doesn't get out to Peyton much, so the three took it upon themselves to buy from 3 different locations. Leo got a couple large and juicy vegan burgers. TJ got those tofu tacos that are made from nacho cheese chips, and Jenna got him a bread bowl. I squint, trying to look through the frosted glass on the sides of the door. Maybe he's getting high. He should still be able to hear. I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to. TJ holds up his phone. He's not answering his phone either. Leo knocks on the door hard, his bicep bulging. I could be studying. Chase could be finishing his project, and you and Flynn could be at work right now. Instead, we're doing this. Flynn leans back against his truck a couple yards away, briefly canting his head in Jenna's direction as his name is mentioned. Oh boy, I gotta do his voice again. Gotta recalibrate my voice for this. You know, I may be remiss to mention this, but you all are 6 shades extra bitchy today. Leo stands back, paws on his waist as he takes a deep breath. His eyes have a sheened, bleary quality to them. Anytime Jenna speaks, it seems like he's wrought to near twitching levels of anger. All of Leo's plans to bring everyone together have had the opposite effect so far. Do they lock their windows? What? Leo growls. It's not like we're breaking in. TJ's ears pin back, a frown on his face. The wolf puts fists to his forehead, closing his eyes. I think he's just asleep, and it shouldn't be too hard to just get in there and wake him up. I look over at the side of the house and see a window well. I point at it. What about that? Too small. I could probably fit. She hops off the front porch and crouches down next to the window, pushing at it. Wait, there's a security sticker here. Jenna hesitates, then pushes at the window again, but it doesn't budge. Locked. Then try the one above it. That's too high. I think this is going to be a little too far. I'll boost you up. Think you're strong enough for that? Well, you look like you've lost weight recently. Don't say that. Don't say that to her. Why would you say that? Oof. Jenna turns, giving me a quizzical expression. Smooth. She does smile after a moment, looking more bemused than anything. I see her bushy tail flick some behind her. You know, some girls might take that as an insult. Are you one of those sad girls? No, I get the meaning of your words, and that's where it's flattering, regardless. Oh, well, good, I guess. What the fuck is happening? I set the cake and figurine down on the gravel and move behind Jenna, cupping my paws together in front of me for her foot. Steadying herself with her paws against the wall of the house, Jenna steps into my paws. Slowly, I push up, feeling my muscles strain beneath my fur. Fucking hell, this is so fucking stupid. There is a light click, and I see Jenna pushing open the top window with ease. Good. Now I'm gonna try to boost you all the way up, alright? Your arm's doing okay? Yeah, Peachy. Yeah, Peachy. Her tail flicks again, and I get a mouthful of fur. Sorry. Like we're some kind of cheerleading duo, I shove Jenna as high as I can with both paws. She grabs the ledge, and I feel the weight burden lift as she dangles against the side of the house. Careful, don't fall. Her bushed tail is the last thing we see, until she pokes her head back through. Kitchen. I fell in the sink. Okay, unlock the door now. She disappears again, and we make our way back to the front door. Leo, why didn't you help? You're the fucking muscle here. If you don't shut your fucking mouth, Flynn, I'll use my muscles and kick you right in the vag. Sound good? Jesus, calm your... Leo turns on him, one foot in front of the other. Flynn shuts up. TJ, meanwhile, has his eyes upon the wall in front of him. Usually he's all smiles when we're gathered like this, even though we're swearing and crude stuff. Right now, though, his eyes just look sort of vacant, like earlier at the mall. Finally, we hear the door rattling and it opens. Called his name, but he didn't answer. Well, he's gotta be here. It's not like he can go anywhere, or would want to. I pick up my stuff and head inside. Carl's house is as massive and immaculate as I remember it. It is a mansion after all. Well, maybe less immaculate than I remember. There's a few wrappers and pizza boxes on the marble counter. I assume that's because Carl's parents aren't here to tell him not to be a slob. Flynn immediately heads up the stairs. Yo, Carl! Jenna stands in the kitchen, her paws on her hips as she looks around. Strange being back, isn't it? Like in general, or... She shrugs. Carl! I hear the others scampering around the house, Leo moving out to the backyard. TJ, meanwhile, checks the garage. She pulls out her cell phone, tapping at it a few times. It is very faint, but I can hear a distant vibrating sound somewhere in the house. Jenna turns and I follow, stepping past the spacious living room. I didn't know it was possible, but it looks like Carl's parents got an even bigger TV since I was last here. Carl's room looks pretty damn similar to how I remember it, though usually he makes at least a mild effort to pick up after himself when I'd be coming over. Sorry for that glitch there. I think I just hit a tab button. There's so much dirty laundry and trash scattered about, I can hardly see the carpet. God, it smells like Leo's glove box in here. Don't remind me. I wonder why. Jenna gives me a slight scrunched nose look, pauses, then nods acceptingly. She pulls out her phone, calling Carl's number again. This time, the vibration is much closer, a rattling sound audible as the device vibrates against a wood surface. Still, it sounds kind of muffled. It sounds like it is coming from one of his drawers. Ordinarily, I'd be vehemently against rifling through someone's personal stuff, but this is a special circumstance. I'm not going to stop you. Jenna starts pulling open drawers in the dresser while I check out the desk. I feel guilty doing it, but there is sort of a thrill to be had in snooping about like this. I start stumbling upon old comics that I had given Carl myself back when we were kids. The corner's dog-eared to all hell. The next drawer looks to be chock full of portable gaming system stuff, including all of his cartridges just scattered about. I remember every day on the bus, I'd sit next to Carl just to play because his parents bought him all the expensive devices. I'd always guilt him by saying that he could play at home whenever he wanted, so he usually let me play the whole ride from Echo to Peyton. Find it yet? I blink, then shake my head, checking the next drawer. No, but... well, there's a flashlight. A butthole one, too. What? I shut the drawer, trying to not think about it too much. Nothing. Well, I found it. I spin around, moving to Jenna's side. It looks like she grabbed it from somewhere wedged between Carl's bed and window. Does it have a lock on it? No, it doesn't. Carl's parents have always been really good about respecting privacy, yeah? How fortunate for him. Jenna swipes through the Messenger tab, though for some reason, now she keeps the screen out of sight from me. Her brow raises at something, and she pauses. What? What is it? She quickly shakes her head. Nothing relevant. She returns to tapping about again. I can hear the others still calling for Carl, so I guess they haven't found him yet. Again, she is wrought to pause. Are you going to tell me what's up this time? She stares. So, apparently Carl took a picture last night. There's a disconcerting look in her eyes, which tells me this is different than just another picture of Carl's ass. Okay. She holds up the phone for me to see. Oh god. Spooky TJ? Maybe? That's what it looks like to me. But I'm trying to think what was on Carl's route that would have done that. Thinking too hard about this. Trying so hard to picture this. I'll probably look back on the video and try and figure this out. It's not moving. It's just still frame, so nothing cursed or anything weird yet. Cool. Alright. Oh boy, transition. Nice. I stare at the sunlight reflected upon the ceiling above me. Its pale, golden hue has gradually shifted to a more amber tone as dusk nears. Uh-huh. We showed up at around, 2 o'clock-ish? Yeah, usually I would be back at work, but I took time off for Leo's party plan. The patter of Flynn's feet is audible behind me as he paces back and forth upon the tile floor. Glancing over the edge of the couch, his gaze is fixed upon the ground in front of him, the phone cupped against the side of his head. What? He's in the kitchen now, using your coffee machine. All the old gang is here. To repeat, the alarm wasn't armed. Carl usually doesn't set it. We got in through the top window above the kitchen sink. Flynn points towards the aforementioned window despite currently explaining it on the phone. Leo stands motionless in front of the kitchen window, facing away from us. Well, Jenna did, then unlocked the front door for the rest of us. Wasn't my idea again. Place is kinda messy, but we didn't see any signs of anything broken into. Jewelry above the bedroom dresser? Jewelry above the bedroom dresser? Give me a sec, I'll check. Speaking of, here she is. Flynn hands the phone off to Jenna before heading upstairs again. She uncrosses her legs and stands up slightly, pausing for a moment as she listens to Carl's father on the other end of the line. Yes, Mr. Hendricks. It has been a while since we've last spoken. 5 or 6 years, actually. I go by Jenna now, yes. Instead of pacing about like Flynn, she moves over towards me. She rests herself against the arm of the couch by my head. Her expression shifts some, but I can't tell much further due to the sun glare coming through the windows and the angle she is above me. My brother? Actually, yes. When I went through his phone, it showed that they had texted earlier that day. Yes, it does appear Carl was buying weed from him. She's quiet now, listening. I can hear Carl's father on the other end now, meaning his voice is a bit raised. I turn on my side, propping my head up with an elbow on the armrest in an attempt to read her expression. Jenna doesn't appear fazed, but she doesn't look at me either. Mr. Hendricks. The voice on the other end continues. The high-pitched rasp of Carl's father's voice is still audible a minute later. There are pauses in what he's saying, but Jenna doesn't interject. Finally, there is a pause of around 5 seconds before I can hear a quieter, "Are you still there?" coming through. Yes, Mr. Hendricks. At this time, I'm going to file a missing persons report with the county's sheriff office, citing the image I sent you from Carl's phone. Looking over, Carl's phone sits upon the coffee table, the red-eyed image still displayed. Something about it seems so familiar, yet exactly why escapes me, like fleeting déjà vu. It makes me uneasy, even without the context of our current situation, which makes it worse. It hasn't been the minimum 24 hours, but as you said, the fact that his phone, wallet, and all your other vehicles are accounted for is worrisome. She waits, listening. I'm going to tell the police that we were given the go-ahead to come and go from the building during this week. If you could confirm that when the sheriff's office calls you later, that would make things easier on us when we keep up the search effort. Do you and Mrs. Hendricks have any recommendations on that front, regarding where he could have gone off to? She reaches over and I feel her paw move beneath my tufted chin. Her fingers scritch along my jawline and my eyes begin to loll. I don't know why I'm still so tired. I look up at her, though her gaze still doesn't meet mine. She continues to pet me, eventually reaching up to ruffle my head scruff. It rouses me from my lulled state, and I blink up at her. She covers the phone with her free paw, muttering to me. Hey, wake up. Can you go see if TJ made any progress upstairs? Oh, yeah, sure thing. Hearing the telltale thuds of Flynn's heavy-footed gait upon the terracotta stairway, I glance up. He returns, shaking his head. Shit's still there. Jenna nods, seeming to ignore the now strange look the guy is giving us. I sit upright. I think Mr. Hendricks is giving us some advice of where to look. Jenna again nods in confirmation, though Flynn still peers at us with a furrowed brow. Were this any other time, I'd have some shit to say right now. He sighs, nostrils flaring. I lean forward, taking hold of Carl's phone and peering at the image again up close. I'm gonna check out some of the messages myself and see if I can find anything. Alright. Leo, Jeremy. Hold on, I'm just gonna look at this just for research purposes. I swear to God. Some gay otter, I don't know. Well, oh, hey, Flynn. Finally, you're on screen. Good job. The cell phone is plucked from my grasp. Flynn standing above me. Jenna and I already looked through that. Now you're just wasting your time being a snoopy shit. Flynn's emerald gaze briefly flicks to Jenna, then back down to me. Surprisingly, Jenna nods in agreement, then motions to the stairs. We got this, Chase. Like I said, go see how TJ's progress is going. She looks to Flynn with a sort of stern, knowing expression before responding to something on the phone. Well, the convenience store is a few miles from here. Does she usually walk that far? My cheeks burn at the scolding, and I rise to a stand. Turning to leave, I can still see Leo standing, unmoving in the kitchen. He's like a photograph, a still image silhouetted in contrast to the fading sun through the window. It's weird. Usually Leo is the one who jumps into action with this sort of situation, or at least he did when we were kids. De facto group leader and whatnot. Now though, since we found out Carl was missing a couple of hours ago, he's been pretty resigned. Hell, Flynn and Jenna have been the ones coordinating everything so far. He glances over his shoulder, the first bit of movement I've seen him do in about 15 minutes. I can see his red eyes from here. He's staring right at me. I find myself walking over, despite myself. Flynn and Jenna busy talking with Mr. Hendricks over speakerphone now. I enter the kitchen and approach him. Hey. Yo. A silence lingers between us. So, Carl. Yeah? You know where he might be? Uh-huh, of course. I'm just not telling anybody because I like all this quality time we're having here, huh? Leo, this is serious. Jenna's about to call the sheriff. Yeah? Good. 2 birds with 1 stone. He holds up his phone, a notification on the screen I can't quite read. Got a call from Mariana back at my parents' house. The police were checking to see if I was there. What? My brow raises. I try to study Leo's expression, but he's stony as all hell right now, his jaw set in near constant grit. Familyplex got my plates from the security camera things in the parking lot, I'm guessing. I sigh, rubbing my forehead. I'm about to open my mouth and say something, though I catch a sort of strange, empty look in Leo's eyes that brings me to pause. I decide against my scolding and instead move beside him, taking one of Carl's mugs and pouring myself a cup of coffee from the coffee maker. It is one of those fancy ones that has an espresso maker built in and a weave basket next to the machine that has at least 30 different flavor cups. The flavors are mostly dessert-based, which with labels like salted caramel, frosted oatmeal cookie, cinnamon churro, and truffle sundae. They sound pretty damn delicious. As far as I know, Carl only drinks energy drinks, and usually obscene quantities of them. After taking a sip, the bitter scald hits my tongue, and I find myself reflexively reeling before getting a chance to swallow. Despite having all these choices available, it looks like Leo went for a we're doing it live. Despite having all these choices available, it looks like Leo went for straight black. Okay. Leo's gaze shifts back to me, and I see him perk a white brow. Damn fine cup of coffee, eh, Chula? I managed to swallow without sputtering too much, putting on a slight artsy flair to my tone. Black as a moonless eve on midnight. Just how I like it. Black as a moonless eve at... Oh my god. So poetic. So stupid. He smiles, though it is a visibly pained expression, which he obscures behind his own cup as he drinks. I bet at university, all you drink are those rainbow frappuccinos I saw on the news. Wasn't that a thing, like, on the news? Like, actually, like, a real thing on the news? Like, what was that, like, 16 or something? Like, Starbucks did that once, and everybody's like, look at rainbow fraps. Oh my god, that's so old. Yeah, this game has been in many years of development. You could tell some things are from like a couple years back. Huh. I remember when those came out. Me too. My dorm is by the library, and the coffee shop is in there. Oh, the coffee shop in there was selling them. The line was insane, and they sold out super quick. My friend Vincent had a barista. He's a barista there. He tells me it's just mango juice, sprinkles, whipped cream, frappe syrup, and food coloring. Yep, like everything, straight up just food coloring. That's what it is. Oh, that the same Vincent from all the photos you've been uploading recently? Yeah. The other wolf guy? Ooh, jealous. I even know this Vincent. I want to know this Vincent now. Hopefully we get to see more from this Vincent. I can see where this is going from a mile away. I take another drink of my coffee, despite the bitterness. I mean, the pictures. They just pop up on my timeline, yeah? I keep seeing them pop up. Yeah, same guy. I hear ya. There's a pause, and I change the topic. Are you going to turn yourself into the sheriff? Not yet. Gotta find Carl. And I think a wolf who's known the horn fucker his whole life can sniff him out better than some overpaid mall cop, huh? Will be more trouble for you if Sheriff Malco, assuming that's who's still in charge, finds you first. Leo signs with a frustrated, busy rasp, his gaze flicking down to the kitchen floor. You sound like Jenna. It's probably because what I'm saying makes sense. The wolf looks up, his bug-eyed gaze focused upon me as if he were searching for something. This damn get-together has gone more badly than I could have ever predicted, you know? I nod, not disagreeing with that sentiment in the slightest. First Flynn at the river, then that shit at the family plex, and now Carl's nowhere to be found. This may be the worst shit. This may all be the worst shit, yeah? But I wouldn't ever be able to forgive myself if I gave up the last chance I ever had to spend time with you guys again, you know? He sets his coffee down, his paws gripping back of the countertop. Leo, come on. We'll see each other again. You don't know that. Jenna's moving all the way to the East Coast. TJ out of the country probably. And you? After what happened at the family plex, you probably don't want to see me ever again either, huh? There's a serious intensity at the cadence of his voice, as if something is practically choking him as he speaks those last few words. The air even feels weird. I think for a moment about what to say, still processing Leo's response. Looking around, I spot an old black beanie hanging up on the coat rack by the door, and I remember something. Carl once told me something back when I said you were becoming too cool for us in high school, with football and stuff. You know, back when you stopped riding the bus and just spent all your time after school at practice with the jock kids. He said that after all the shit we've been through, none of the present petty drama stuff matters, yeah? I mean, sure, I'm kind of skeeved, but it doesn't mean I hate you forever. Just hate me temporarily, then. I sigh. You still haven't even said sorry or anything, man. Why would I say sorry if it's fucking Jenna who showed up and ruined everything, yeah? Oh boy, hopefully this isn't a route that pits Jenna and Leo against each other. Oh boy. This isn't gonna be good. Are you serious? I told you to fuck off too. Why? Why? Jesus Christ, man, you were grinding on me 15 feet away from the fucking kitty corner. You used to do that sort of horny stuff to me all the time. Now you're different. He gesticulates with a swirling motion towards me using both of his paws. Well, I guess I am. That's sort of the point about why it's fucked up. Leo blinks, his shoulders raised high. He begins to speak faster with more of his old accent seeping through. You didn't even tell me you was uncomfy or nothing. Just told me straight up to fuck off. It felt appropriate at the time, man. This is why I didn't want you to leave Echo Otter. It isn't like things were great here between you and I before I left either. Because Jenna got to you. What are you talking about? We had it all planned out. A house, a car, a job, waiting for you at my dad's shop. The life we talked about since we were little. Then Jenna started talking to you about Pueblo and how you should go. To hell with all this hick trash. We're better than them, yeah? Leo. And then she came up with this fucking prank. I see his fist shaking and instantly know what he's talking about. You broke my phone. You broke my heart, Puchika. For fuck's sake, shut up. Flynn steps into the kitchen, and I realize I can still hear the faint sound of Jenna on the phone with Mr. Hendricks in the other room. While you two fuckers are having a domestic, I'm assuming a domestic fight. While you two fuckers are having a domestic fight, Carl's getting reamed by the Mothman. Or whatever the fuck that red-eyed shit is on his phone. Leo steps forward, his jowls curled back to a snarl. Get out of here, Flynn. Surprisingly, Flynn holds his ground. The lizard squeezes his fists against his chest and stomach as Leo approaches, reflexively defending himself in case of he swung upon. We don't have time for all this shit. Leo stares hard at him, his shoulders raised and his fur bristling. Flynn flinches some. It reminds me of how Leo acted towards him at the river, and I'm starting to wonder if this is how Leo treats Flynn whenever we're not here. Leo, what the hell are you doing? Calm down, alright? I'm still fuming from what Leo said, but even I know this bickering is petty in contrast to the problem at hand. A solid 10 seconds of silence pass, neither of the two tall figures budging an inch. Finally, Leo steps forward, shoulder-checking Flynn hard enough that he stumbles back against the wall. Gonna find Carl myself. Flynn sputters angrily, Leo muttering some string of swears as he heads towards the door. At least tell me where you're going to look so we know where not to go. Leo pauses, his hand on the door handle. Danica Street to Elizabeth Road, south to north. Great. Good luck. The door slams behind me, and the heavy stomps of his feet on the gravel outside. He's gone. I look down and realize that I'm shaking. Even if it had been years, an argument like that with someone who basically defined my childhood and teenage years has a way of hurting deep. That stupid fucking prank. I try to refocus, making my way over towards the knocked-over Flynn and offering him my paw. You okay, man? He glares up at me for a second, then takes my grasp and pulls himself up. The lizard weighs a ton, though, nearly pulling me down with him. Just go help TJ already. Gotta check the basement again. He dusts off to his front and begins fiddling with his shirt collar, walking off back towards the stairwell before I can respond. Through the window, I can see Leo outside. He's down the road a ways, past his van. He's talking to someone. I see the figure he's talking to point towards the house we're in, and Leo crosses his arms. It can't be the sheriff already, can it? Moving to the window to get a closer look, I can see that the figure is a weasel. Oh boy, Duke. Interesting character. Still having a grudge on him from other roots. Jesus, I haven't seen him in years. I used to see him around on his porch a lot back when I visit Leo's place near Daly. As far as I remember, he was the loner type, occasionally getting involved with civic stuff and the mayor. I have a vague memory of him being married to a younger lady when I was a kid, but I don't remember seeing her after first grade. His interactions with me were always pretty brief, not much to judge a personality by. Now, though, he is pointing at the house, speaking loudly, though I can't discern what he's saying. Leo just looks angrier, his tail stiff. Despite the range, I can practically feel the old fellow's gaze shifting, meeting mine through the window. His pointing hand shifts, now aimed directly at me. I reflexively blink, stepping back. When my eyes refocus, there's a plume of dust in the air. Duke is on his back in the middle of the dirt road, and Leo is quickly marching back towards his van. What the hell? Duke is already back up on his feet, sprinting now away from Carl's house. His mouth is still moving. He's saying something. Leo's van peels out of the doorway, gravel kicking up on its wake. Within a few seconds, he's out of sight as well. Jesus. I walk over to the door, locking it once again, just to be safe. Left alone, I head out of the kitchen.